Hey everybody, welcome to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin, your site for learning classic rock and pop songs on this lovely little 8-string instrument. My name is Mike DeJong, and today we're going back to the 80s again for one of the biggest songs from that decade and one of the toughest songs I've ever had to learn to play on the mandolin. It's a tough one, not for the faint of heart. Some really, I guess you could say, advanced chords. Very jazzy chords that I know you'll love to learn to play on this instrument. But once you get those jazzy chords down, I know you'll love playing this song. It's really fun, and of course, it's a really popular tune, so everyone will enjoy hearing it when you play it on the mandolin. But first, a little bit of business before we get to that lesson. If you're new to the site, thanks very much for checking us out. But please don't forget to hit that little subscriber button on the way out, and leave us a like or a comment if you like this video. Also, do the same if you are a returning subscriber. Thanks very much for coming back once again. We hope you're enjoying this site. We hope you enjoy this lesson. And again, don't forget to hit the like button down below. Also, check out our Patreon and Amazon links down below. Some exciting new things on Patreon. My Patreon page, we're going to do monthly live mandolin rock and pop jam sessions. You can be a part of it by signing up at patreon.com. So check that out down below in the comments. But that's it for the business. Now let's take a look at this Police classic called Every Breath You Take here on RPM. All right, Every Breath You Take is a really fun song to play on the mandolin, but a really challenging one written by Sting and played by the Police. I'll show you the opening lick right now, and once you get that down and practice that, you'll have most of the song together because it's really only a few different parts. But the parts are quite difficult. Okay, here's the first bit to the song right now. Right, and then you go to... And then you go... And then... Okay. I'm playing this a little bit differently than Andy Summers of the Police does it on the guitar, too, and I'll explain that once I get to it. But first, that opening chord is an A add 9 chord. Really cool jazzy chord. What's an A add 9? Well, it's basically your A chord down here, 2nd fret of the G, 2nd fret of the D, and I'm barring it, but you're also adding the 2nd fret of the A string, too, which is a B note, or the 9th in an A scale, right? Hence the name A add 9. You're adding the 9th note of the A scale, or the 2nd note if you want, the B, to this chord. So instead of just a regular A chord, you want to hit, you hear how that sounds? A little bit more jazzy, a little bit more, I guess you could say, leading onto the next note or chord. So you're basically just arpeggiating these chords, all right? That means picking each note individually. So let's start with that A add 9. You're just going just up that chord, right? You're hitting one note at a time. And I'm just using basically downstrokes mostly, so... But you could use up and down strokes if you wish. Right, like that, okay? So that's your first little licks. You're going... So what you're adding there is this little pattern on the A string, all right? So you're already kind of arpeggiating to that 2nd fret on the A string. Now you want to go to the 4th fret. 4th fret, 2nd, open, 2nd. And you want to kind of hold that A note down here as long as you can. So you see how I leave that in place? I kind of do those two notes holding that A, and then I open it up for that open string there. So I'll go slow here. You see how I've opened up that A chord, and you want to try to prevent it from ringing out too, down here. I kind of let it ring out a little bit there, and I shouldn't have, but here. You want to kind of mute things too. Andy Summers of the Police also uses what's known as a palm muting technique, which is where he puts the palm of his picking hand on the strings of the guitar to deaden them. Like that, right? So you can do a bit of that here. I kind of put my right hand on top of the bridge here, just to palm mute it slightly, all right? So, and then from there, this is the hard part for me. You got to jump to this chord here, all right? This is an F sharp minor chord, all right? F sharp minor. And what's that? Well, that's the 6th fret here of the G, the 4th fret of the D, open A, and 2nd fret of the E string, all right? So F sharp minor. Now, on the guitar, Andy Summers is playing the low F sharp note when he plays this chord, right? He's playing the same chord, F sharp minor, but he's using an F sharp in the bass. Well, here on the mandolin, there's your lowest F sharp, and it doesn't really sound, it doesn't sound that great as a root note. So what I'm doing is using this note here, which is a C sharp, which is also in the chord too, right? It's right there. I'm using that one instead, and I'm doing this little run, which is almost the same as what Andy Summers does. It's almost the same. Not quite, but hey, for the mandolin, we've got to make a few accommodations because of the way this instrument is set up. So that's the riff for mandolin on the F sharp chord. So once again, the A chord, A add 9, and then you jump to this F sharp. So what are those notes there? Well, I'm hitting the F sharp chord, so I'm sort of letting it ring, and then so I'm going, that's 6, 4, 6, 4 down here. And then I'm hitting that open A string. You see that? So A, 6, 4, 6. So you're utilizing these notes here mostly, the 6 on the G, the 4 and the 6 on the D string mostly, while still having these fingers kind of locked down. So, and it's kind of the same pattern as you do on the A add 9. Like that. Okay, then you're moving up to a D add 9, but I'm playing the D here at first. Okay, so you're grabbing that D chord here, which is the 7th fret of the G string, 4th fret of the D, and 5th fret of the A, right? That's standard D voicing. But you're going to add that note there, which is the 9 again on this D chord. So, like that. So just basically arpeggiate these 3 notes and then add that 9. You can also add the open string E. It's the same note, right? That 9th note there, which is at the 7th fret. You're going, so you can do it like that, or you can go, you see, I added the open one instead. You can do either way, so. And then slide this pattern up 2 frets. It becomes an E and an E add 9. So what's that? Well, that's this fret here, which is the 9th fret on the G. Now you're at the 6th fret of the D and the 7th fret, right? And then that little note there, that's an F sharp note, and it's the 9th fret of the A string. So one more time, that last part of the pattern, the D. You see how I'm going up and down? Just like that, okay? So one more time from the A. And then you're going back to that F sharp chord again at first. The first time through the verses, they go back to the F sharp. The second time through the verses, after that, then they just go back to the A again. And then you're jumping up to the sort of the pre-chorus of the song, all right? So one more time, it goes. Okay, and then let's say you went through the verse again to the A. Now you're gonna, oh, can't you see you belong to me, right? That part goes from the A. Oh, can't you see? Okay, that part jumps up to the D chord. All right, so you're going, oh, can't you see? And then it adds kind of a D7 voicing in there. I'm doing something a little bit different here on the mandolin, but I think it really sounds good. It's a nice little passing chord that takes you back to the A. All right, so, oh, can't you see? You belong to me, right? So that's the sort of the pre-chorus. Oh, can't you see? You belong to me, right? When a poor heart aches. Okay, what's that? Well, that, you're moving up to a B add 9 now, okay? From the A, slide it up 2 frets to here. And it's basically the same pattern as the A. However, you don't get the benefit of using open strings here. You've got to just do that sort of thing all on the A string, all right? So you're going to the, right? So you're holding down that 4th fret now on the 3 strings instead of the 2nd. You're just moving it up to the 4th fret here, here, and here. So, and that same picking pattern as we did on the A. And then now, that lick moves up 2 frets to here, 6th fret, 4th to 4th, right? So sometimes you want to hold it, solidly so you don't deaden the notes like I just did there by mistake. So you want all of those notes to ring out if you can, and that's kind of tough. You really got to be able to hold it tightly like that, okay? And then from the B, now you're jumping up to the E again. Right, that E add 9. Okay, so one more time, that pattern from the B. Okay, to that E chord. Okay, so those are the 2 main parts of the song. You've got the verses, and now you have what I guess you can call the chorus or pre-chorus or whatever. There's only one other part in the song that you really want to worry about, and that's a bridge, which is pretty cool. And it comes kind of later in the song where you go, right, and they stay on that F sharp a little bit, and then they go, right, that part. Well, that part's pretty easy. It's the easy part of the song. Give your fingers a bit of a rest. It's just sliding from the F sharp down to an F chord. All right, so I'm playing the F here at the 5th fret of the G, 3rd fret of the D, open A, and now the 1st fret of the E string. So, and just hit a little arpeggio pattern there. It goes open A, G, F. Okay, so A, 5th, 3, and then you're hitting a G chord. And now, so that note is the 2nd fret of the A, open A, G. Okay, so one more time from the F. And then back into that part once again. Okay, those are the main parts and all the chords and licks from Every Breath You Take by the Police. A really fun song to play if you can get it, but one that is definitely tricky. I hope you'll give it a shot and get it down because it is really fun to try to play on the mandolin. Thanks very much for watching this video, but don't forget, before you check out and take a look at some of the other videos on this channel perhaps, please hit that little subscriber button if you're new here. And if you're not, give us a like and check out our Patreon and Amazon links down below. Thanks again for watching. My name is Mike DeJong, and this is RPM.